Ladies and gentlemen, the long-awaited, highly anticipated review of the United States of America High School Champions League. We got its co-founder. We got the guy named Jim Harte. He's my buddy, and we're going at it. Now, you know me, that I know you. I talks a bit. But we talked off the air and said, hey, we're going to get precise and concise. We're going to go at it. Now, a review of what's happened is Maddie Di Maria, the name, household name in St. Louis. Well, it's national now. The gal's everything about high school soccer, and her teammates, Roz Darty and the freshmen, she rises all boats. When you're good, you bring other people with you. So we want to salute her big time, and to say about it's going to come. It's starting. Kansas City, they're always, one step behind St. Louis, but they're coming up. Chris Larson, of the legendary Chris Larson from Rockhurst, going to bring the Champions League together. Then I have news, and my time is closing up, is that Jim Harte is going to talk about the 5 cities so far and what is happening going forward. Jim?
Thanks, Kevin. So, folks, what we're going to do is we're going to try to give you informational news bits, not long-form interviews here in this, in what we're trying to do with this new format. So here we go. First one. Kevin hit on it. Chris Lawson, the longtime high school coach at Rockhurst High School. He's at Park Hill South now in Kansas City. He's going to be our go-to main man in Kansas City Metro to get the High School Champions League up and running. He's working actively on it right now. There's a big question there whether and how to include the Kansas side of the state, because the Kansas side of the state, the schools over there are under the auspices of the Kansas State Athletic Association, which is different than the Missouri State Association. They go by different rules, and so there's going to be some work to do there, but there's nothing stopping a Kansas City, Missouri side of the River Champions League from getting started. Chris is going to work on that. We eventually hope that this leads to a Kansas City Metro champion, which leads to something we've teased in this podcast before called the I-70 Super Cup, which might happen, which might be the winner of Kansas City versus the winner of St. Louis. But that's all for the future. The other thing Chris has mentioned is that he's going to work with other elements of the state of Missouri, Springfield and other enclaves, to help spread this idea of the Champions League around to them as well. So Chris Lawson, item number 1, he's on the team, he's working for us. That's big news. Item number 2, right now we are at 5 high school Champions Leagues in the United States. To go over them, Tampa Bay started in 2018, followed by Polk County, Florida in 2019. Then came St. Louis in 2024, as well as South Florida in 2024. The news here is that Champions League number 5 is going to be starting in 2026-27, and that's going to be Manatee and Sarasota County in Florida. That's just south of the Tampa Bay area. They're going to start with a pilot program, a 4-team pilot in 2026-27, followed by a full-on Champions League in 2027-28. So that's something to keep an eye on. Big news, 5 Champions Leagues. News item number 3. We have in our national high school Champions League meeting last night, we had a guest speaker in the meeting representing United States Youth Soccer. His name is David Kowalski Makuza. And David has written a few papers and advocated on behalf of this idea. The idea is that U.S. soccer is not seeing all the soccer that's being played out there if they only focus on academies and high level pay to play. David's theory is, what about ethnic leagues? What about high school soccer? What about other places where the game is played where USYS doesn't have a foothold? Along those lines, United States Youth Soccer has an intention of collaborating with the High School Champions League. We started it with our interview last night with David. I've also had a meeting with the CEO of US Youth Soccer, Tom Condon, and he is interested also in this collaboration. We're going to build out this in the coming months. We'll keep you posted on that through this channel here. And one more thing that those guys with USU Soccer have brought to the table is they put us in touch with a company called Taka. Taka supplies the video and data analysis for MLS Next clubs, and Taka is working on creating a version for high school soccer as part of their support of the High School Champions League. That is major news and exciting news to share with you. David Wilson, Kevin Whalen was talking at the top of this broadcast about Maddie DiMaria and playing high school soccer for the St. Louis High School Soccer League champions, Correzu, 2 years in a row, and about how Maddie is not damaging her future to play at North Carolina and to play in the U.S. youth national team system by playing high school soccer, that in fact she's making the argument in support of high school soccer being part of the development structure of U.S. soccer for young players. Anybody that's watched her play at the high school level has got to not be thinking to themselves, oh my God, that poor thing, she's damaging herself by playing high school soccer. How could you possibly come to that conclusion when you're watching this player play in these high-level competitions like the Champions League, leading her team to victory? So that is a theme, an ongoing theme that we're going to stick with in this podcast. We salute Maddie DiMaria down here in Tampa Bay. The video of the High School Champions League final between the two teams, Fort Zumwalt South and Correzu, has been circulated widely here in Tampa Bay and elsewhere, really around the country. And so we congratulate not just Maddie, of course, because she had a team that made this happen, but we congratulate the St. Louis Champions League, the St. Louis Girls Champions League, and everybody that runs it up there in St. Louis, and everybody that's running a Champions League really anywhere in the country. Tomorrow, when we pick this up, we're going to talk about the Champions League as part of the Modern Soccer Coach podcast, which is a recent episode we'll talk about tomorrow. We're going to talk about Robert Wilson, who was in our meeting last night, the author of the Football Manifesto, and his connection to the Champions League. And we are going to talk about the Champions League's connection with the UPSL, which is a league that is considered by many as the fourth division of men's and women's soccer in the United States, behind MLS, USL Championship, and USL League One. Then comes UPSL. The vice president of the UPSL is a major supporter of the High School Champions League movement, and we'll talk to you tomorrow about how plans are being made to collaborate for those high school players who still have soccer left to play at the age of 18 after their high school career runs out. Until then, this is Jim Hart reporting for the Whale Certified Podcast. Kevin, back to you.
All right, here I go, baby. I'm on it. I'm on the. Oh, what am I? I'm on something. Here it is. We got Perry Vandenbeck. He's the guy. He's the ambassador of the High School Champions League. He came right out of high school into the professional league down there with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Became captain of the United States Olympic team and was on the World Cup team. Baba boom, baba bang. that he brings it. He knows it. Now, the last thing, hey, that Kentucky Derby was beautiful to watch all that. I mean, it's, a lifelong memory. Well, I had one last week watching Maddie Di Maria going down the sideline, coming up the middle with the select ball. Oh man, that select ball from soccer, sports, Select Sports America, the ball, the official ball for the high school champions league. I mean, it is unbelievable to watch her in motion with the ball going ahead. It was just, oh, I mean to tell you, it left me speechless. It really did. I mean, it was so much. Now, in closing, is that I got this with the meatball. I love meatballs, and we're gonna have to get it together, and that's why we need you, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls. We need you to lift our boats, to say, hey, how about this? How about that? So reach out to Whale Certified. Make us better. Jim, you're ready for it, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
All right, you big lug. I'm going to say have a nice day. And it's kind of hard not to have a nice day down in Tampa. But all right, Jim.
All the best, Kevin.
All right. See you tomorrow, or talk to you tomorrow.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Cheerio.